What is going on, everybody out there? It's Fascinating Graveyard here today on this beautiful day here in Inglewood, California, right next to the airport. And she's coming down for a smooth landing. Hopefully, she will. Guys, today, gonna visit briefly the final resting place of one of the most iconic characters that were ever played on television, the character Aunt Esther. And of course, that woman's name is LaWanda Page, a woman that I've watched growing up as a child in Los Angeles. Now, LaWanda Page, that's her stage name. Her real name, when she was born on October 19th, 1920 in Cleveland, Ohio, was Alberta Richmond. She was the middle child of three girls. So she was born in Cleveland, Ohio. And when she was maybe 6 or 7 years old, 8 years old, the family moved down to St. Louis, Missouri. And she attended a little elementary school called Banneker. And she had a class with this little light-skinned fella. This little light-skinned fella, his name was John Elroy Sanford. Better known as Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son. And they grew up together and they went to school together in St. Louis, Missouri. Now, after she was done with school, LaWanda, she was known in the East St. Louis area for her dancing. She's actually used to be a dancer. This is her right here. And she would do these tricks where she would light cigarettes and light matches with her fingertips. She would swallow fire. She was LaWanda, the flame goddess. And she would perform in clubs around that general vicinity and other occasions, excuse me. So, in the early 1960s, LaWanda, still doing her stage act, moved out here, and she traveled all over the world, from Brazil to Japan, doing her fire-eating act. And then one day, one of her friends, they says, "Hey, you're pretty funny. Why don't you give stand-up a try?" And at first, she balked at the idea. She said, "I'm not a comedian." But they said, "Yeah, but you're funny. You just have this way of telling jokes, and think you should give it a try." And she did. And she became quite successful at it. So here in the LA area, she would later link up with Ernest Skillet Mahan and Wilbert Leroy Daniel, also known as Skillet and Leroy. They were a comedy troupe. So for the next 10 years, 10, 12, 15 years, she would perform with this comedy troupe in Los Angeles. Now, at this time, she's still friends with Red Fox. But it's not like they've always kept in touch because, see, by this time now, Red Fox is getting very, very popular. Very, very popular. As a matter of fact, he's getting so popular that they're going to be making a show called Sanford and Son about a father and son, a recently widowed husband and his adult son named Lamont, and they own a junkyard. So the show comes out to rave reviews, and it is a hit with the critics, most critics. And in the second season, the producers of the show, they said, "Hey, we're going to be introducing a character that you would kind of verbally go back and forth having barbs with. And this character is going to be the sister of, your deceased wife." So they're looking for somebody with a feisty, fiery attitude. And Red said, "Oh, my friend LaWanda, she'll do that. She's good for it." So they invited her to come down to the studio and do a reading as the character Aunt Esther. Now, here's the thing. LaWanda, even though she's been on stage, she's been all over the world, she has never, ever, ever done any kind of acting ever. When she's on stage, that's just who she is. So she did not do a good job at first with reading the script, memorizing her lines. I mean, guys, you're giving this woman a script and you're telling her, hey, you know, memorize this, memorize that. Now, he pushed hard for her to get the job on the show, and she did. Now, at first, they're not liking how she's performing. And Red Fox is telling LaWanda, girl, you got to get it together. Like, why are you not doing the job that I know you could? And the producers of the show, they actually wanted to fire her. And Red Fox, you know, he's like, look, if you fire her, you're firing me and I'm leaving the show. And he meant it. And Red Fox, he was very, very notorious for not really liking to study his scripts. A lot of the verbiage or lines from that show, not a lot, but some of them, they were just ad-libs that he would just go off the top of his head. He did not like practicing reading his lines. He just didn't. But over the course of a few weeks, you know, he would invite her over to his house and then they would rehearse their lines and he worked with her. You know, you got a woman who just, you know, she already knows what she's going to say, you know, when she gets up on stage, but you're giving her a 30-page script. And I think she was just nervous because now she's on TV. Millions of people are looking at her. It could be kind of frightening. But they ended up working together and she would get very good. And for the next 5 seasons or so, 6 seasons, her and Red Fox would battle back and forth, insulting each other on the show. But in real life, you know, they were very, very close friends. And then after the show ended, there was a couple of spin-offs of the Sanford and Son show. And however, the spin-offs, they didn't really pan out. I think one lasted 2 seasons. What was one called? The Sanford Arms or something like that? That one lasted a season. And that was about it. So other than Sanford and Son, she kept kind of busy after the show. She did release a couple comedy albums in her lifetime. And she released one during her height and popularity on Sanford and Son. I think it was called What You Looking At, Sucker? Or something like that. And actually it went gold. And after the Sanford and Son show and the 2 other spinoffs, she would be, you know, kept pretty busy for the most part. She has been in a couple TV shows. She did that Dean Martin Celebrity Roast. She did Martin.
Just start one of those neighborhood watch groups.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Whoa, babe. Neighborhood watch is just an excuse for a bunch of old hags to get together and spy on people.
Now you're talking, sucker. I have everybody here tomorrow night.
Whoa, you mean here? Why not at your apartment?
I don't want them old broken down broads stinking up my apartment with that liniment.
She did Amen. She was on 227.
That guy sure is taking a long time.
Sure is. Hey, buddy, leave some numbers for us, huh?
It's a heavy jackpot this week, ain't it, honey?
I wouldn't know. I don't play the lottery.
Looks like a lottery ticket to me.
My husband bought this.
Whoever, dawg. It ain't no sin in playing the lottery.
And she did a couple Popeye's chicken commercials.
Herbert and I have been happy together for 35 years. Then suddenly last night, Herbert kicked the bucket.
People everywhere are kicking the bucket for the great taste of Church's fried chicken. That's because Church's chicken is big, bigger than Kentucky Fried. And you always get Church's tender, juicy, quality chicken at a deliciously low price.
Church's chicken is delicious. Herbert, you should have kicked the bucket years ago.
Tell someone you know to kick the bucket and come to Church's.
And on top of that, she was in this movie.
Down on this hood a long time. I seen a lot of things. Hey, you young punk sucker. I've been down on this hood a long time. I've seen a lot of things. I survived the Watts riots, gang wars. And you know how I did it? How? By standing my ground and having my homies watch my back. Word. So don't let nobody mess with your shit. Yeah! And like me, don't let nobody give you no shit.
Yeah, old school. Bartholomew? Bartholomew! Come here, boy.
Oh, shit.
What did you say, boy?
I said, oh, shoot, Mom, shoot.
Didn't I tell you to clean your room?
Oh, Mom, come on. The gang needs me. I'm the leader.
Gang? You better get in there and clean that room in the next 10 minutes. Or else you're gonna be walking down the street with 3 shoes. 2 on your feet and 1 in your ass, sucker.
Thank you, Mama.
Yeah, so you gonna roll with us?
Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. Now, practically every TV show she did, every movie, she was basically on Esther. She was that character. And listen, people expected, you know, when they would see her on TV, you know, they just said, you know, just kind of be on Esther. And, you know, and she capitalized it. And, you know, just a very iconic television character. Sadly, she died due to complications from diabetes. I want to say, I could be wrong, I think she died in the same hospital that Nipsey Hussle died in. The one in downtown. But nonetheless, just, you know, a beautiful person inside and out, and just a very iconic television character that I used to watch as a child. And here we are at the final resting place of Aunt Esther, Alberta Pio. Of course, she was married in 1937, so that is her married name. But LaWanda Page, ladies and gentlemen, Queen of Comedy. We love Aunt Esther. Okay, guys, I am out of here. I'm heading that away. I will see you on the next video. Peace out.